Good evening, everybody, and happy Friday. It is July 26th, and today I think is the big day I've finally been waiting for. I get to taste my first truly ripened fig. And this here is my Olympian fig tree. It's been featured before. I just recently shot a tasting video on it, and I will link to that above. But I have had my first 3 figs off of this tree drop early. So I've tried them 3 times, but none of them were properly ripened. I think I finally have a properly ripened Olympian fig tree. And I was initially concerned that this was not an Olympian. I bought it as a tissue culture from Lowe's, and it can be questionable from these big nurseries if they're labeled correctly. But the first couple of figs did not look true to type, but now these later, more mature figs really do look like photos of the Olympians that I've seen elsewhere, and the leaf patterns look like an English brown turkey. For those not familiar with this variety, Olympian is named after Olympia, Washington, which is the city that the Olympian tree was discovered in, but it was brought over here from Europe. It is more than likely an English brown turkey. So when you go to the United Kingdom, brown turkey is a different fig than what people call brown turkey here in the US. When people refer to brown turkey here, they're talking about California brown turkey or southern brown turkey, and they're very different than this English brown turkey. So we're going to call this an Olympian. Here is what the fruits look like. You can see zoomed in a little bit more here. They much more closely resemble the pictures of the fruit that I've seen. Here's a little overview of what the leaves look like, and this is a first-year tissue culture, but you can see how absolutely loaded with fruits it is. So I think the idea that tissue cultures don't give you fruit for a while is really a myth. You just have to heavily fertilize them with phosphorus, which I've done. So this is one Olympian on top here, and the other one is much more ripe, and it's in this organza bag right here. And I'm going to do my best here to slowly and carefully remove this organza bag to see if I can show you what this looks like maturing on the tree. And there you go. That's what it looks like. You can see it's starting to actually dry a little on the tree. I can't explain why, but it's been so dry here this year in North Carolina. It just looks great. So I can't wait to pick that off. It is barely hanging by a thread, and we can see what this looks like. I must say, I'm pretty excited about this fig. It feels really nice. You can see it's starting to develop some sugar spots on the underside there. Looks very pretty. It is very soft. And that weighs in at 29 grams. That is smaller than the other fig that I had the other day, but I can tell you right now, just from touching this, I think this is going to blow that other fig away. Alright, let's see what this guy looks like. The skin is actually a little rubbery because it's partially dried. Partially dried on the tree, and it doesn't even want to come apart. Ooh, that looks pretty good right there. I must admit, I'm pretty excited to try this. You can definitely see that there's some honey in there. It's not super syrupy, but for a first-year fig tree, that is looking pretty good. And here's a nice little close-up so you can see just how nice and gelatinous the center is. You can see how juicy it is. That right there is a beautiful looking fig. Alright, enough messing around. Now I'm going to try this bad boy. That is so very sweet. Very soft. This doesn't taste melony like it did when it was underripe. I don't get those melon tones. This just tastes like straight brown sugar. I don't know how else to describe it. It tastes like brown sugar mixed with honey. It's not a complex flavor. It's brown sugar and honey, and it's absolutely delicious. I could eat about 100 of them until I'm sick to my stomach and nauseous. That is an absolutely delicious fig. It has no hints of berry. It has no hints of melon. It's just like taking a tablespoon to a bag of sugar and putting honey on it. Very delicious. Alright everybody, that was my first ripe fig for the year, and it was a good one. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel for future updates and more videos like these. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all again next time.